Good evening. Shall we start? I don't know whether we will get time to solve all these six assignments or not. Okay. Whatever is finished today, these many assignments we will solve, right? You want to solve these assignments as a part of your college. So factorial of a number entered by a user, right? So what is the factorial? I won't write definition here. 5 factorial is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, right? And 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1, right? So this is just a factorial. Hmm? So how we can try it? Let me declare one number. Now this will be the number in which we will take the input, right? There should be one number as a fact, suppose, in which we are going to store the factorial. There also should, I think, a counter variable, right? If you are a beginner, you have to try it everything on the paper first. Enter number. You can %d and now. How we can design that program? First of all, we have to multiply number by a previous number, right? I have to assign it first to 1. It has to be 1 has to be stored in the fact first. So for I equals, suppose, 1, so we can write it in multiple ways. I less than or equal to now I plus plus, right? And I have to write fact is equal to fact into, they can write uh, 1 equal to, can I write that I here? What will happen? Suppose I enter for you 1, 1, 1 into 1, that is 1, 2, 2 into 1, 1 into 2, that is 2, then 2 into 3. Yeah, it will work. Let's see. Rarely I have solved these programs with live coding. %d factorial is %d, right? And what I can name num. Oh, did I enter? Remove that num variable. Num. Num. Uh, right. If some issues are there, we will have a look at that. At least warnings are not there. Error is not there. Let's see. Suppose I enter 5. Yeah, 5 factorial is 120. Okay. So far it is good. Now the problem with the factorial is that there is a limitation. I mean, you cannot find the factorial of 50 or 100 or whichever number because memory has got limitations, right? So we have to take that into consideration. Every machine has got limitation, right? Depending upon the what kind of data type we have taken. So we have taken a fact as the integer. So there is a limitation, right? So 10 factorial is this value. It has got some higher limitation like yes, this factor 20 factorial you don't get that, you get that negative value, right? Maybe 17 or 15 at the most you can get that. No, right? Because factorial is a huge number. 15 factorial you get the right number. You can increase that by making this as unsigned end, right? This is not necessary, but I mean this is also good one, right? You have to make this as unsigned also. So at least that number which you entered like 20, probably you may get that, right? You have to change the format specifier as percent %u here, right? And here also percent %u. So let's check. Earlier we were not getting that 17 factorial. So suppose 17. Yes, you get that 17, right? But again, there is no guarantee that you will get 20 or not. Yes, 20 factorial you are getting, right? So this is how we can write the factorial of a number. But again, it is going to have limitation. After certain number, again, it will give you negative number. So first of all, how does the program execute? This is just a loop, right? So I is a counter and it will iterate till the I is less than num. Then this statement is important. So you are saying fact is equal to fact into I. So initial value of fact has been initialized to 1. So 1 will be 1 into initial value of I is 1. So 1 into 1. So it will be stored in the fact itself. So during the first iteration, value of fact will become 1 or it is 1. So it is 1. It remains 1. Value of I becomes here 2. So that earlier since 2 is less than num, suppose you enter 5. So the earlier value of fact which is 1 and new value of I that is 2, it will be multiplied again and now fact will contain 2, right? Next I will become 3 which is again less than or equal to 5. The control goes inside the loop again. The earlier value of fact is 2. The value of I is 3. So 3 into 2. So that multiplied value again, new value of fact that 6 will be stored in the variable fact, right? Then the value of I becomes 4. That 4 will be multiplied by new value of fact that is 6, right? So that will become 24. So 10 fact will contain now 24. The value of I becomes 5. So 24 into 5. That 120 will be stored in the fact and loop will be terminated because condition becomes false when I becomes 6. It may happen that you write the program in some different way, like you initialize I to num, right? and you write this condition like this. I mean, I greater than or equal to 1. And you decrement the I. This way also program will solve. Right? Because this way, if you write this way, the expression will be solved like in the example 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay. In the early case, it was 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. Okay. And when we write through a code, other loop in this way, then it will be multiplication will take in the reverse order till the value of I becomes 1. Okay. So this condition is very important. On that basis, the loop will be executed. But at the same time, this initialization is important, condition is important, and at the same time, you will decide whether number is I mean counter is to be incremented or decremented. So this way also it works. Okay, let's check whether it works. So enter number, suppose 6. It will give 6 factorial is 720. Okay, so you should know how the loop works, how multiple combinations can be there while solving any problem. I will close this project. Multiplication table of a number entered by the user. Right. This is very simple program. First of all, I will declare one variable as a num. Right. I'll write, give the message to the user, enter number. Right. Name %d and num for I equals 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. I'll write printf %d. Suppose %3d I will give. Right. Multiplication table of %d. Right. Num. Right. If you have a machine, you can type and run the program along with me. Okay, you may not be able to type the way I type, or you may be typing at faster pace than me. I don't know. So I will have to write here num into I, right? What happened? I haven't declared that into I, right? Is the program correct? I have to put the slash in here. So suppose I enter 5. Yeah, multiplication table of 5. What is that? J? Some wrong character, I think. Suppose I give here 10, right? 5. Multiplication of 5 is 510. Okay, so that is a multiplication table, right? These small programs will help you to build your logic. Why I give 10D? Because if I don't give any width here, then see what happens. And 10, see here that output is now left aligned. Okay, when you put the width specifier, that is right aligned automatically. Okay, and it is printed somewhere out somewhere mid of that middle position of that sentence, right? So if I suppose 10 printed at the center, right? Approximately at the center. So 5, multiplication of 5 is 5 times that, and that is a right aligned. Okay, so when you put the width, it is right aligned. Now, suppose I want to print multiplication table of numbers from 1 to 10. What I have to do? I have to print, right? There is no question of entering anything here, right? No question of writing this. Multiplication table, that's it. There is no question of this. Okay. And what I can write here now? Percent %d, percent, suppose 5d. Will it work? No, 1, 2. We have to go for the. Have to go here for the double nesting of loops, right? For j equals 1, j less than or equal to 10, j plus plus, right? So you have to go for the nesting. Some kind of matrix is going to be there, right? I can declare here variable, but that is not necessary, right? I will write printf percent, suppose 3d, and after it I into j. That's it, right? I think it should work. I have to declare that variable. Yeah, it is printed, but it is printed here. But again, next multiplication of 2 is on the same, because a new line is not, we cannot, because if you insert here /n, right, what will happen? You will get multiplication table like this, right? So multiplication table of all numbers from 1 to 10 is there, right? But new line should be there once you print multiplication of table of one number, then it should start, right? What I will have to do is I have to put the slash in here as well. But will it solve the problem? Let's check. It will. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it will solve the problem. We have to play. Yes. What I have to do is I have to remove this. Right? Now it will work. It is a jugglery, but it works. Yes. Right? It is not jugglery, but what happens? We are printing. This is basically a multiplication table of 1, right? This is of 2. But since this is the mathematics, we are printing in the horizontal direction, right? This way. We are printing this way, because this is also multiplication table of 1. So once these 10 digits are printed, we are putting the /n outside the inner loop. So that's why next it prints the multiplication table of 2, then multiplication number of 3. Okay. So /n makes the difference. Here we have removed the /n, and /n has been new line character has been inserted outside the inner loop, so that this loop will be executed. Okay, so it will print 1 2 3 4 5 up to 10, and then slash n. So cursor goes to the next line, right? Now again it will go inside the loop. It will print 2 4 6 8 like that up to 20. Then again new line is inserted. So that is how you get the multiplication of table of 1 to 10, right? Now modify this program from your side. Write the multiplication table of 1 and the number entered by you. So you will modify this program. Okay. So assignment you should try. So if you enter suppose 7, the output should be multiplication table of numbers from 1 to 7. Right? So try it. We will try to solve the prime number. So user will enter a number and program would give you output whether a number is prime or not. Right? Let's try this one. What is the prime number? The number greater than 2 is a prime when it is greater than, it should be written as greater than a 1. I don't remember exact mathematical definition of that. You go, there is no question of 1 is prime number or not, but a number greater than 1 is a prime when it is divisible only by that number itself. Right? There it is a prime number. So what are the example? So 1, then 2, 3, 4 is not a prime, 5 is a prime, 6 is not a prime, 7 is a prime, 8 not prime, 9 not prime, 10 not prime, 11 is a prime, 13 is a prime, right? 14, 15, 16, 17 is a prime, 18, 19, is 19 a prime? Yes, 19 is a prime, I think. 20, 21 is not prime, 22, 23, 23, I think it is a prime, 24, no, 25, no, 26, no, 27, no, 28, no, no question of 28, no question of uh, no question of any given number as a prime number. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, no, 28, no, 29, yes, it might be a prime number. A few examples I have given here, right? So suppose 11, we take example as 11, okay? Immediately we can say that a particular number is a prime or not, okay? Human brain can tell, okay? But because it doesn't apply for large numbers, we don't know whether a random number like 78358 or 78361, okay? We don't know whether that number is divisible by any number or not. But at least a few numbers like up to 100 or 100, 200, okay, at least we can tell. Or there are, we have got some basic mathematics rule of whether one number is divisible by 3 or not, okay, 5 or not. We know all these things, okay. In school days we have learned that which numbers are divisible by 5, which numbers are divisible by 3, okay. Some basic rules are there. So on that basis we can tell. But Certainly we cannot tell immediately whether a particular number, what I said, like 387357. Okay? We don't know whether this number is prime or not. So we have to start dividing that number from 2 onwards, right? No question of dividing that number from 1 onwards, right? Because each number is divisible by 1. So we'll start dividing that number, right? So for our designing purpose, we will take this suppose number as 11. Okay. So when we will declare this 11 is a prime or not, we will start dividing that number. Okay, 2 onwards. So we will divide it by 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10. No. So 11 is not divisible by a number from 2 to 10. Or to be precise, or if we want to, I want to generalize from 2 onwards till the number you have got minus 1. So if we consider 11, then number minus 1. So we have to divide that number from 2 onwards till that number minus 1. Okay. If all these numbers cannot divide that number, we can declare that number is a prime. This is will be the design of the program. Okay. This will be design of the program. Suppose I take a number as 25. 25 is a prime number or not? Same methodology. Divide it by 2. Okay. Okay. As per our generalized rule, because generalized rule is very important. Okay. So as per our generalized rule, we have to check whether 25 is divisible by any number between 2 and 24. Okay. This one step is very important. Now, we will start dividing that. Okay. And we will finish at the 24. Okay. So we will divide it 25 by 2. Okay. It is not divided by 2. Divided by 3. No, 25 is not divided by 3. How we are going to check whether it is divisible by 2 or not? We have to consider we have to take the mod. Okay. 25 you mod 2. Remainder is 1. So it is not divisible. 25 you divided by 3. Okay. Again, remainder is 1. 25 mod 4. Again, remainder is 4, 6 or 24. Again 1, right? 25 divided by 5. It is divided. Okay. 25 is divisible by 5, right? Because 5 5 are 25. Remainder is 0, right? Now, generalized rule is that to check whether number is prime or not, you have to divide that number from 2 onwards till that number minus 1. Now here we need to check, we need to divide it from 2. In case of 25, we need to divide it by all numbers between 2 and 24. But when you divide, when you check and come to know that 25 is divisible by 5, is there any need to test further whether it is divisible by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 till 24? There is no need. There is no need. So here what you will do, you will stop that dividing that number. And how will you stop abruptly? Derisich is going to help you use the statement break, right? So we will write the program. So one variable for taking the user input, some variable for the counter, right? I. Let's see how I can write the program. I'll prompt the user first. Enter number, right? I'll scan that number. %T, 1%, no. How I can write the loop? While, first of all, I will have to initialize. We are going to divide that number 2 onwards, right? I will initialize this to 2, right? So I'll write while, we can use any loop, while num mod 2. No, no, it is not like that. While I is less than or equal to num minus 1. Can I write like this? Num minus 1. Because loop, as a generalized rule, what did we say? Divide that number till it is less than that, less than 1. I mean, number minus 1 till that, right? So we are going to write the loop like this. I is given, and here I'll write the condition as if num, right, mod I. If you get the division as 0, right? What you can say? If that any number is divisible by I, we are going to start dividing that number from 2 onwards. Okay, because I have initialized to 2. So if you get the remainder as 0, that means it is divided, right? So you can write here immediately. You can say it's not a prime number, right? And you can put it here break directly. So once I put the break, this will take the control outside the loop. That's it, right? I can write here. I have to increment that, right? So this is a perfect while loop by definition. This is the initialization. Here is its a condition, and here it is the increment. Okay, it's perfect by definition. This is a while loop. Okay, rarely we can write like this. So, but when it is not prime number, I will write here print it is a prime number. There is a problem here. This program will run correct. I mean perfectly for some inputs, and for other inputs it will not. Right? Let's check. Okay. Some samples we have got right here. We will enter the same samples, right? So we got sample numbers as what? 3 is sample. So we will enter 3. So it is a prime number. It gives you right output, right? It gives you right output. So I will enter 11. So that too also gives you right output, right? Right answer. Suppose I enter 25. What happens? It gives you output as it is a prime number and it is. Oh my god, I made some mistake. I made a mistake. It's not the prime number, right? Let's check again. Back to the square one. So I have to check from 3 onwards. Yeah, it is a prime number. I'll check it for 7. Yes, it is a prime number. I'll enter 11. Yes, it is a prime number. Let me check 25. Here it is not a prime number and it is a prime number. So there cannot be a number like which is prime as well as not prime, right? So this is where your program gives you wrong output, right? What is the reason? Reason is that to decide whether a particular number is prime or not, our generalized rule is it has to be divisible. It should not be divisible by any number between that 2 and that number. Right? So there are multiple ways to handle this. First of all, we need to make sure that when this statement is executed, this should not be executed. That's it. Right? Our basic problem is that we get correct output when number is prime. That means this whole loop is executed. Okay. So when you enter 11, this 11 is not divisible by 2, any all numbers between 2 and 10. Okay. So this loop is executed from 2 to 10. Okay. When I becomes 11, the loop is terminated and control reaches here. The same logic we have put. Okay. So when you enter, suppose when you enter 7, okay, so 7 minus 1, so loop will be executed for all values when I is less than or equal to 6, I mean, right, less than or equal to 6. So loop will execute for all values of I between 2 and 6 when you enter input as 7, right? So between 2 and 6, 7 is not divisible, right? Because and the loop is terminated when value of I becomes 7, right? And at that time control will reach here and directly it gives the output as number is prime number, because that is our generalized statement or rule says, right? So there is nothing wrong in this. The problem is that when you enter suppose 6, when you enter 6, right, this loop will be executed between 2 and 5, right? Number minus 1, that is 5. So when I is 2 and number is 6, okay, num mod I, this 6 mod 2, that is 0, okay. So it gives you, it is not a prime number, right? So control is break, so it is not divisible by 3, 4, 5, okay. But the problem is that control reaches here and gives you it is a prime number. So our concern is when this statement is executed, this should not be executed. No, when a particular number is prime, when it is not divisible by all numbers between 2 and one number, 1 minus that number. So for 7, the control reaches here when I is 7. So I can write statement as, if there are multiple ways. If I write I equals num, right? Execute this statement. When I taught you if control structure, I said that there are a number of situations where you need only if control structure. There is no question of writing else. This is a perfect example, one of the perfect example, one of the example where there is need of just if control structure. That's it, right? There is no question of writing else part, right? So let's actually check whether this works, because our program is right for all prime numbers. It was not giving you right output for not prime numbers, right? So I will enter 25. So it is not a prime number, right? So it works perfect, right? Let me enter a huge number, which we do not know whether it is prime or not, right? So it is not a prime number, right? So this is one way. Okay, this condition is very important. This is one way. Another way is you can use some variable like flag as well. Okay, so I will declare one flag Flag is just a variable, name of the variable, and I will set the flag, okay, to suppose 1. And flag is just it is the way of writing program. Sometimes you'll have to find that situation, and with due experience you will come to know where to use that. This is just another way of handling this kind of problem, because our concern is if this statement is executed, this should not be executed. That's it. That is our major concern. Okay, this is a legal way of writing. The another solution is not illegal, right? But this is what you can say standard way of writing the program. Okay. So I will set one flag. Okay, flag is just a variable. Okay, and initialize to 1. Okay, what I will do, as soon as we find that if it is not a prime number, I will set the flag to 0. Okay, right? And I will write here, if flag equals 0, right? No, if flag not equals 0. You can write in a multiple way. I will show you. What do we want? If this statement is executed, this should not be executed, right? So I will set the flag to 0 here. Okay. Since we know that when this statement is executed, flag will be set to 0. I will check same value here. If execute this statement, if flag is not 0, right? So I will enter 25. It is not a prime number, right? There are multiple ways, like what I can do here. I can write like this as well. Can I write like this? Yes, I can write like this. If flag. This is one of the wonderful way of writing C program. Okay. I will try to run first and we'll explain then whether it works perfectly. Right. Suppose I enter 11. Yeah, it is a prime number. Suppose I enter 25. Yes, it is not a prime number. So see how the condition I have written. If flag, that's it. Right? So what will happen? When you enter a prime number, okay, this loop completely will be executed. There is no question of this statement getting executed, right? For example, 7. This statement will not be executed. When I becomes 7, the control will come here. If flag, what is the value of flag initialized to 1? So if flag, that means if 1. If 1 is what? If true, because 1 is always true. So if flag means if 1, so this statement will be executed. Now what happens when particular number is not a prime? Okay, this statement is executed and flag is set to 0, right? So when control comes here, if 0, what does it mean? If 0 means if false. So this statement is not going to be executed. That's it, right? So number of ways are there. Suppose you initialize it to 0. Okay, students ask me whether to initialize to 1 or 0. So it is up to you how to write the program. If I set to 0, I will write it to 1, right? And here what I have to do? I have to use the not flag. That's it, right? Same. Okay. So if I enter 25, it's not a prime number, right? Just know that not operator and everything what you can do. Okay. But what I wanted to show you how this condition, if flag, that is wonderful. I mean, this is the way usually you will start writing programs. Okay, once you finish this course, you will start writing programs. You will come to know the variety of possibilities. Okay, the way C program can be written. Right. I hope you understood this program. If not, watch this video again and again. Hmm? Then we'll write one more program. Suppose, what was that? Power. Let's try to write power function. Power is what? 3 raised to 5, something like that, right? Write a program, print one number raised to other. For example, P and C are entered. Output should be with 3 raised to 3, 27, right? If 4 and 3 are entered, output should be 4 fours are 16 into 4, that is 64, right? That is a power function, x raised to y. Okay. General statement is mathematically, it is x raised to y, right? I will to take two number. I'll declare x and y. Int, suppose the result. I'll write what I have to do for print enter number NF %d and x. I'll copy paste this and that will be y. I will do like loop. So what is it given? 3 raised to 3 is, rather 4 raised to 3 is 4 raised to 3 is 4 into 4 3 times, right? 4 into 4 into 4. It is a 3 times, right? So same logic you have to apply. You need to multiply that number, okay, that many times. And I mean, loop has to be you need to iterate through that loop till y times, right? So x number will be multiplied by x till y times, right? This is how one should, I mean, you should think. Let me see. I have not written, I mean, I don't remember. Let me try along with you. So, what I can write here? Mm, I mean, some counter must be there, I think. This has to be initialized to bit 1. Let's check. While for I equals 1, I less than or equal to y, because we know y times, right? I plus plus, what I can write here? Result equals result into x. Will it work? I think it should. Let me print here then. Percent d raised to percent d is percent d, right? X comma y comma result, right? So what will happen? Suppose I enter 5 and 3. What will happen? X contains 5, y contains 3. So loop will be executed 3 times. It is I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3. Because we are using y as a value for number of iterations. And result we initialize to 1. So that is 1 into 5. So result will be 5 for the first iteration. Value of I becomes 2. The original value of result is 5. 5 into 5 again. That will be 25. So it should work. Right? Let's check whether it works or not. So if you enter suppose 4, 5 and 4. So that is 5 raised to 4 is 6 to 5. Yes, it is correct. So far it is correct. Right? We'll have to check it for multiple inputs so that it doesn't go anything wrong. Right? Suppose I enter 5 and 0. What happens? Yeah, 5 raised to 0 is 1. Mathematics says that, right? Mathematics says that 5 any number raised to 0 is 1. Okay? So it gives correct result. Right? So how many programs we have written? Power, prime number, multiplication, factorial. Okay. So we'll stop here.